I was expecting the vending machine one, but
Reborn is a vending machine?
Yeah, that's the one I was expecting you to say.
I don't think Richard gets into isekai.
I don't think he understands it.
Yeah.
He's like, how would this happen? Hello, welcome to Lore Drop, a reinvent podcast. I'm Abby, the executive executive director of Reinvent Productions.
I'm Ben.
Who are you?
I'm Ben.
Okay. All right.
The creative and artistic director.
And the one who made all this stuff up.
Yeah.
and then we have a friend today. Who are you?
Hello, I'm Andrew, and I'm playing Richard for Ordinary Heroes.
Nice. He is, in fact, a human playing a robot.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of wondering, like, is this like, should I play a robot when I'm not a robot? But, you know, like,
is this cultural appropriation?
Yeah, like, it's like, but ultimately, you know, like, I got the green light, so yeah.
Gotta consult ChatGPT to make sure you're not being offensive to AI.
For sure.
This is also, let it be known, this is an anti-AI podcast and
we
company.
We are AI haters.
Yes.
Before we get into the lore drop part of the episode, this is arguably the most important part of the episode, which is determining what anime trio are the three of us.
Oh, you can't just spring that on me. That's crazy.
I asked Ben if he wanted to brainstorm this last night, and he said, no. We should. And I was like, okay.
So, like, we're saying anime trio, like Ben, Abby, Andrew, or like, or
Yeah.
are like.
What trio of anime characters? You know, the trope of like, there's the three characters that
I
are.
wish
like,
I knew more anime.
Yeah, no.
See, I was arguing, I was like, whatever trio it is for this dynamic, because like, you know, like when you're with different friends, you behave differently, and like you might be a Bakugo in one group, and then like a Todoroki in the other group. I was arguing that Ben is the Bakugo of this trio solely because Andrew is able to bait Ben into arguments quite easily.
Yeah, Andrew is able to rage bait me way easier than any of my students are.
Does that make me Midoriya?
Yeah, I'll be the Todoroki.
I guess Todoroki also, you know, definitely brings it out of
yeah,
Bakugo,
but
too.
like I think. Well, actually, you know what? He might be the Todoroki, because I think Todoroki knows exactly what he's saying to Bakugo whenever he like kind of like ruffles his feathers a little bit. Deku's just like having a good time. We don't have to have the exact. We don't have the exact character traits.
We have to break it down exactly, or like, and that's all we do in this podcast until we figure it out.
Yeah, BuzzFeed is gonna be so jealous of our system.
All right, so like intelligence quotient. Let's see.
Your favorite color?
Yeah,
that will determine.
My microphone pop filter.
I mean, if you look at the pop filter color,
my pop filter color is green, so that's why I'm Deku.
That's really funny.
And I cry a lot, so it works out great. Anyway, let's start talking about Richard.
Okay, so Richard in Reinvent is a character who is an autonomous robot who is known for speaking like a 1940s baseball commentator.
How does he talk?
Well, the original voice at the table was talking like this: "Hello, my name is Richard," and was always that like loud level. There's not a lot of like variety when it comes to him. But yeah, and some of Richard's abilities include the ability to generate electricity from his body and channeling it through his body, and then also being able to extend his arms to a maximum reach of 30 feet, which he calls extendo arms.
Andrew, when you're at the gym right now, have you been working on your extendo arms?
Yeah, no, that's my number one thing I do at the gym. It's just like, I'm just sitting there in front of the mirror, like all the gym looking at me, and I'm just like, extendo arms, extendo arms. I've gained 12 inches on it.
Nice. You're 1/30th of the way there.
It's gonna look so cool on stage, guys.
We just have like Andrew with freaking pool noodles. That would be funny. Oh no. No, I have to stop. Have having ideas.
Some of Richard's notable allies in the Reinvent universe include Overkill, Circuit, Turbine, and Jetstream. Some of his notable adversaries include Mark-07 and Melita. So Overkill is a dwarf warlock from the Dynamite campaign, one of the main party members there. Circuit, Turbine, and Jetstream are all members of the Order of Heroes, which Richard is also a member of. And the trio of them are also like the Brainiacs ones there. They're like the gadget smart characters in that group. They're usually the ones who are like repairing and doing maintenance on Richard, mostly Circuit. And then Mark is another robot who is not as nice as Richard is, and Melita is a fairy. That's all there is to her.
What does Richard stand for? As it is an acronym.
Yes. Richard, I'm going to see if I can remember this off the dome. Richard stands for the Resilient Intelligence Collecting Humanoid of Adaptability, Resourcefulness, and Determination.
Richard! Does Mark have a acronym yet?
Nope. Mark is an acronym. I don't know what it stands for.
I don't know how acronyms
It hasn't
work.
been revealed yet.
Stay tuned.
I say now my brain's thinking.
Let's make an acronym right now. Mean.
Meanie. A-hole.
Rude. Killjoy.
That's what Richard thinks it means. And he specifically says a-hole.
Yeah. Yes.
Richard is he's 1940s. He has good manners.
But yeah, Mark and Melita don't have a lot of lore to them yet, but I just know that they are part of Richard's rogues gallery. They are some, of currently, underdeveloped characters. There's still about 2 years left of Richard that we can fill in the gaps for.
Richard's dead?
We'll get there when we get there.
Okay. First appearance.
Yes, Richard's first appearance when it comes to like the real world order of telling stories in Reinvent was in the Dynamite campaign, which was the second tabletop campaign run in the D&D system. And so Richard showed up in the very first session. He was part of an Order of Heroes team that was sent to rescue Captain Amazing when he was being held captive by Project Alpha in a remote lab in Mexico. Richard was sent alongside Circuit and Tower to go rescue Captain Amazing. And so what happened is that Richard and Circuit sort of helped cut out the power to this facility. Richard went inside to go and retrieve Captain Amazing, found his way, stumbled upon Overkill in the chaos inside. And so that's the party of Dynamite, which was Overkill, Aurora, Adriana, and Severica at this point. You'll learn more about them when we get there. But the party of them were all being held captive and were all fighting their way out of their captivity at the same time. Richard ran across Overkill, and Overkill found out that he could hide inside of Richard's chest cavity because Richard's original design was very like early Disney inspired, and so his like torso was just like a big metal tube that had a door on the front that you could open, and there was nothing inside.
Which is kind of weird design choice.
A little bit.
But,
so Overkill being a dwarf was able to fit in there pretty easily.
That's awesome.
And Brett being Brett imprinted on
yes,
Richard,
no,
basically.
And so they became very fast friends. And so they worked, the party worked with Richard. They found Captain Amazing. They helped him get out of there. They got everyone's equipment back, including Captain Amazing's suit, which helped him actually lead the charge on them getting out again. And so when they got back out and reunited with Circuit and Tower, afterwards, Richard agreed to escort the party to safety alongside Tower as Captain Amazing and Circuit went off to join up with the Order of Heroes at their nearest hideout. And that leads into the Dynamite campaign proper, which is where the rest of Richard's story happens.
And it is the story of how we would not let this NPC die.
Yeah.
Or be taken away from us.
Yeah. So on a meta level, the intention of Richard was just to be that like tutorial character. I liken it to Fire Emblem, where there's always in the early game, there's the Jagan character who is like way stronger than all your other units, who is meant to get you carry you through those early levels a little bit. And so that is what Richard was meant to be. He was not meant to be there permanently. I was trying to take him away from the party after this very first arc.
And we said no!
And it didn't happen.
We like Richard.
Yeah.
Particularly Brett. Brett did not want to let go of this robot.
So what happened was the party made their way through this desert in Mexico to the nearest city, which was Juarez. And the thing about Juarez in the Reinvent universe is that it takes a page out of The Purge, in that it is sort of like
It's really scary.
the city of Juarez is divided into like 7 districts, and once a year there is a full night where basically the 7 big like factions of Juarez get to duke it out in the streets the entire night, and whichever faction is left standing gets to be the one in charge for the next year.
That's crazy.
And so at the point when the party shows up, the faction was run by someone called the Gov. He was the one in charge of this central group and everything. And so the thing that the party did not know was that Overkill was one of the assassins hired by the Gov to help him out this year. And so Overkill went with Richard just on a walk that night, and whilst they were out on their walk, this competition triggered and it happened, and so Richard and Overkill were separated from the rest of the party when the competition began. And so that being said, Overkill was like, cool, I have an easy pass to get to the main, like the Gov's mansion in the center of the city. And so they had a pretty easy night, all things considered. They didn't really have to fight that much, except for this one assassin, because there was a thing sort of like Hunger Games, when anytime a faction leader was eliminated, it was like announced across the entire city. And there was a faction in the city of entirely like monster-like people, so like goblins and minotaurs and centaurs and all that stuff. Basically anything that would typically be a monster in D&D, they were their own whole faction. Their leader was killed by one of the other assassins. And so Overkill, also seeing himself as a misfit, and Richard was here as well to witness this whole thing, and this was when he realized what was going on. Overkill challenged this other assassin to a fight, and so him and Richard fought the assassin, beat him, and passed him off to the other monsters and said, you figure out what to do with him, and then made their way back to the Gov's mansion, where they reunited with the rest of the party.
We were mad.
Yes. The fight happened. It was the party, which at this point was Richard, Overkill, Severica, Adriana, and Aurora, along with General Skull and Maurice Williams.
Oh yeah,
were the ones here united against the Gov, and a few of I think there was 3 assassins left. And about halfway through the fight, the Gov triggered his trap card, which is, surprise, I have 2 dragon eggs upstairs. And they came down and hatched in the middle of the fight into 2 young blue dragons.
It is crazy to me that this happens so early in the campaign.
And so in this fight, Richard was severely damaged to the point of not being functional by the blue dragon, which the party dubbed Brutus. Because the other one they named Caesar after the Overkill's player. His dog's name was Caesar and was in the room, so they named the dragon after Caesar.
And Caesar killed Brutus at some point.
Yes, because Aurora convinced Caesar to fight Brutus. And so
it's the best nat 20 I've ever rolled in my life.
The point is that Richard was damaged to the point of quote unquote death by Brutus. And I was like, okay, cool, Richard's dead and we're moving on. But the party was like, no. And so Overkill brought Richard back to a Minotaur mechanic that they met earlier in the night and said, hey, fix this robot. And the mechanic was like, this is a bit above my pay grade, but I'll try my best. And so he was reconstructed by this mechanic. And with this, he had the new upgrade of he was immune to electricity damage, because that is what destroyed him that time. And so they said, maybe don't let that be a thing for this robot. But yeah, and that was the first big arc that Richard was with. And this was when I realized, oh no, I'm never gonna be able to get rid of him, and I am now doing this voice for the rest of this campaign.
You fool. What were you thinking? You shouldn't have introduced a mechanic character like right before.
That too. I was man.
A character, he has such a fun voice.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, do the funny voice.
Yeah.
Dungeon man.
No, absolutely. Well, it's also like a character who's very like pure of heart, like, oh, just a good guy. Character. Not really a lot of like depth to him. He's like, I am a robot and I have no backstory. And they're like, perfect.
We love you with all our hearts. Yeah.
Andrew, you've DM'd before.
Yes.
Have you ever had an experience where the party would not let an NPC die?
Yeah, I had so I used to DM one shots at Stormcrows, like here in Lubbock, where like for like just like open like people that are interested in playing D&D that maybe don't have a lot of experience playing the game. And I always try to come up with like interesting or funny characters, you know, for them to interact with and be like, oh yeah, like so they could kind of get into the role play a little bit more. And so I introduced, like, they were going through a dungeon and there was two statues, like, you know, with two doors, and I was setting up the, like, you know, the classic, like,
one of us tells only lies.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And but one of the statues was severely broken, like did not have an upper torso, like, you know, just was damaged in the past. Like, and so the statue that was left was just really sad. Like, he'd feel like his buddy was gone and he'd just been kind of hanging out. And so, like, you know, they, like, I did a little puzzle for them to kind of figure out which door to go through. But then, like, he just talked like this, you know. Like, I was like, oh, well, I guess you figured out the puzzle, so see you later.
Your door.
And and, you know, like, the party was like, well, we can't leave him. Like, you know, so,
it's a door.
Yeah, like, I was like, they're like, we can't, like, this statue is like, you know, like, he's planted in the ground. We've got to figure out how to carry him for the rest of the
goodness.
And I don't remember what I did, but they were so insistent on bringing him that I had them do a couple rolls, and they were able to chisel him legs so that he could then come with them for the rest of the adventure. And like, he ended up making, like, a noble sacrifice for the party, you know. Then they brought him back to the town and rebuilt him again. So yeah, like, they're like, this statue will never die.
That's crazy.
Oh man, that's really funny. But yeah, so after that, and we call that the Juarez arc, we start the Project Alpha arc for Dynamite, because after that they were like, okay, cool. The party spent some time fixing up Juarez. Severica, Maurice, and General Skull went off to go rejoin the stand and help them out with some of their Industrious City efforts. And so Richard went with the rest of the party now to make their way towards the next city, where the Order of Heroes hideout was located at in Mexico. And so on the way there, they had a stop in the Deadwood Forest, which is a forest entirely of dead trees that is in the middle of the desert in Mexico. Fun fact about this forest, there's also a wormhole over top of it that is a gateway for space travel. And so while they were here, there was a spaceship came out of the sky and crashed in the middle of this forest, introducing them to their new party member, Fraxus.
Oh my gosh, we got Fraxus
Yep.
super early too.
And then, so after that, later on, they on their way approach to this next city, they came across an abandoned gas station, which they found a bunch of Project Alpha grunts outside of, and they were like circling around. They said, well, we got to figure out what's going on inside of here. And so inside there, they found Dr. Joseph Bren. And so they have now acquired 2 new party members on their way to this new city. And they arrived to the city, which is like a very futuristic, it's in the process of being renamed. That's why I'm not giving it a name right now. But so this city is half covered in dome. It's very cyberpunk. And so they make their way to the hideout. And while they're in the hideout, an alien invasion happens just suddenly, because this was a thing that I was doing. I was like, on a meta level, I was like, I know I want an alien invasion to happen at some point in this campaign. And so at the end of every session, I was rolling 3d10. And I was like, if they get 300 or lower, then it'll trigger the alien invasion. And I kid you not, the first time I rolled the dice, and I was like, well, all right, cool, it's happening now.
And we were like, whoa.
And it's like, we're busy, so we're going to worry about that later.
We should have worried
and
about
so,
it then.
basically, they did some recon on Project Alpha, found out that there is a person called the Chairwoman that they had to find in the Kansas City base for Project Alpha. So that is where they made their way up to. They found their way there, made their way up to the Chairwoman's sort of like office room and everything. And so had an encounter with the Chairwoman as well as Super Commando and DN Agent, 2 sort of like superpowered henchmen of the Chairwoman there.
Can't wait till we have an episode about Super Commando.
And so
Super Commando sounds really majestic.
Yeah. In this encounter, they sort of, it was the 3 of them versus the full like collected party at this point, as well as someone named Keeper of Dragons. And so in this whole fight, what happened? Basically, Richard's big contribution was getting demolished by Super Commando. Super Commando beat the crap out of Richard.
That sounds about right.
And so he was severely damaged yet again. It was at this point that of the people in the room, like The DN agent was the only one who was like kind of severely hurt. Super Commando was relatively untouched, and same with the chairwoman. And so the last two party members who were standing were Overkill and Dr. Bren, and Keeper of Dragons, with her like last bit of big magic before she passed out, was able to cast a certain spell, which we'll explain at a later point. But point is, the party escaped by the skin of their teeth, and so that is the end of the Project Alpha arc, and that was when they said, okay, let's make our way up and rendezvous with the entire Order of Heroes up in Greenland.
Yeah, Greenland.
In the city of Pamiut. And so that is where they made their way. Richard still kind of out of commission this whole time, but they said, we will get him repaired because we know that circuit guy is going to be up there. And because the other Order of Heroes people were like, he's the one who usually fixes that guy, so take him there.
You drag this carcass with
and
us.
so they meet up there, and it's this big meeting of like basically all of the heroic groups and factions on Earth saying, hey, we're being invaded by aliens. We all need to work together and drop everything that we're doing currently to the best of our abilities.
You might even say that they needed to assemble.
Yeah.
Don't come for us,
so
Marvel, please.
This sort of like Earth Defense Force has sort of like been brought together. At this point, Fraxus and Dr. Bren both leave the party, and they are replaced. Severcud rejoins the party again, and they are also rejoined by Iron Sights. And so as at this point, Richard is reconstructed by Circuit, and so his body is now more physically durable, and he doesn't have that old like Disney look. He now has a more like human-esque look. He like it's more identified. Still definitely a robot, but like shaped like a normal human being now. And has a cape now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So for those keeping track at home, this is
Richard version 3.
Yes.
This is what we're on now. And so at this point, this is also when they reunite with the Lady Legacy. And this is the Lady Legacy's first appearance as well. Technically. Anyway.
First appearance at the table.
Yeah. And so Richard and the party are journeying with the Lady Legacy. We move into the next arc, which is the Liberation of Rondor arc. And so they have to make the first stop at this desert near Dustria City to find this mythical lizard folk druid named the Wanderer. On the way there, they are accosted and stopped by Malcolm Duncan, a like captain of the Royal Guard of Knights of Rondor. As well as a whole cadre of other people that the party has encountered and have gotten away. And so it's basically anyone who they have fought and didn't kill, they are back for vengeance now.
Null number 4.
Null number 4, as well as someone named Super Commando is back again. And so basically, and the thing with Malcolm and his reject squad here is that
So true.
they have an airship that they are traveling in, and so they ambush them literally over top of the Lady Legacy, and they have also the help of the aliens at this point as well. And so it's Malcolm and his crew alongside Project Alpha Grunts, aliens, and some like Rondor Knights. And so this is a whole, like, what is going on for the party moment. In this big fight, what happens is that Richard is taking out some, like, goons and grunts left and right. And then, wouldn't you know it, Super Commando squares up to Richard again. And Super Commando, once again, severely damages Richard. He's not, like, doesn't need, like, repairs that damage, but he does go offline for a little bit. And so when they turn him back on at the end of the fight, they find out, something weird happens because Richard, instead of talking like this... Richard is talking like this now, and is talking with not a normal voice, but not his voice for sure.
It was really scary.
And so from some like work, they find out that his morality processor has been damaged. And so mechanically what happened is that his alignment flipped from chaotic good to lawful evil. And I kid you not, the party dropped everything to immediately figure out how to fix this. And they did. And I told you, okay, you fixed his alignment. You don't get his voice back. And so it's like, because I was like, consequences must be had. And so Richard has a normal voice for the rest of the campaign.
Which was dumb.
Yeah. And so
we don't even want you here anymore.
They go on to the Liberation of Rondor. The party goes and has this big old boss rush through these different phases. And the final one is a confrontation with King Festus alongside the chairwoman, Super Commando, Malcolm, and DN Agent all again in the throne room of Rondor. And in here, DN Agent is now the one who severely damages Richard. Instead of Super Commando this time. Super Commando was busy taking out literally everyone else in the fight. He was like dominoes, just one by one. And so after this, the party is successful. They retake Rondor, liberate it. King Festus is dead. The chairwoman is dead. DN Agent is believed dead. Malcolm is in prison, and Super Commando got away.
Of course.
Yes.
Unfortunate. But he's so majestic.
And so Richard is then rebuilt by Circuit again, but also with the help of Kana this time. And Kana is the carpenter on board the Lady Legacy at this time. And so now he gains the ability to project electricity from his body. So before, what he could do is like, okay, he can make himself electrified, and then like sort of if he's using like shocking grasp, he has to like make contact to do this. Now he can just shoot it from his body. He has like an electricity beam now at this point, sort of like the unibeam that Iron Man has in all the cool versions of Iron Man.
It sounds like you just got to keep letting Richard get injured and then repaired, and then he
just
gets upgraded.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so now we're on Richard number 4 for anyone who's keeping count.
It's like a roguelite video game.
Yeah.
At this point, we move into the Andromelic arc, and this one is kind of light for Richard things, but something that does come up is that this is when we reveal that Reinvent operates on a multiverse rule. And so, like we said before, we'll explain it when we need to, but there is a parallel universe, which is called the Dark Future, which is one that is 20 years ahead of Universe 17, and it is one where everything went bad. And so in this universe, that fight where Malcolm and crew ambushed the Lady Legacy, in this fight, they killed Overkill, and Overkill had this like demon erupt from his body, which killed the rest of the party. Alongside a few NPCs. Richard survived that fight and racked with like his morality processor was still messed up. Something new happened, which is that he feels really guilty. And so he changed his acronym from Richard to Guilt and joined the group known as the Masquerade, which is sort of the last of the heroes left. And so there is now a second Richard who is around, who is an absolute bummer to be around.
We don't have there's no acronym for...
Nope, that one is just Guilt all
Guilt.
caps. Yeah.
No periods there.
And so, but something that they do find out, they get to Andromelec's mansion, and through this very series of things, Andromelec has been collecting souls basically this whole time. And one of the souls that he has collected is the soul of a gnome child, who the party finds out because Richard is here when they see him, and the gnome comes out and says, "Oh, that's Richard. He's doing okay." And everyone is like, "Excuse me?" And Richard is like, "Well, everyone, that's my dad, this child." And so it is then revealed that Richard, his original cartoonish look, was because the person who created and designed him was an actual child genius, whose soul is now here trapped in this like pseudo purgatory type thing. And so they put the soul to rest, and that is the end of that thing. So that's the little bit of origin that we get for Richard then.
Which is why I so desperately, just one time in rehearsal, I want to ask Justin Gonzalez to play Dr. Risk as if he were a child.
That would be really funny.
Dad.
Yeah.
Son.
But yeah, and so the last couple arcs, there's a Project Alpha tournament arc in which Richard reveals that he is like, "Hey everyone, today's my birthday." And basically he reveals he was created in the year 2022 in the city of Paradise, California. And it is a year after that when Circuit discovers him that he joins the Order of Heroes. And so, yeah, there's that. And that's really all that there is for him in that arc. And then we move into the final arc of Dynamite, which is the 8 Days War arc. And in this one, there's a whole lot of stuff that's going on. But the main thing is that Richard is one of the characters who gets a Deus Ex Machina that happens, which is that Richard is able to transform into a giant, like, Megazord version of himself.
Heck yeah.
And he uses this to scale the Emperor Graffarim's tower at the very end and get the party up there to save Aurora. And while they're in here, they end up fighting against Graffarim. And once Arim is killed and Graffa emerges as the ancient black dragon that he is, Richard is one of the people who falls victim because Graffa uses an acid breath attack, which completely melts Richard and nothing is left behind. And so this is sort of a me DM thing of like, so it's sort of like Thanos at the beginning of Infinity War of like no resurrection this time or whatever he says about Loki. But yeah, so in that moment though, Richard's death is like the final straw for Overkill, in which Overkill asks for Ted's help in defeating Grapha, and that's when Ted finally does like lend a hand, which leads towards the party's eventual victory and being able to save the Earth from this alien invasion finally. But yeah, and that is the end of Richard's story in mainline Reinvent.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, he never came back. He was
Nope.
dead forever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep, because his creator is dead and no blueprints were left behind, and there was no body left to reconstruct.
Next campaign, figure out a way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's I'm trying to think of like character. Like I can see Kana maybe like trying to like put something together. Like out of characters in Reinvent, he would try and put Circuit would maybe try and put something together, but like I don't know. He gone.
Yeah.
He gone. He had a good 4-year life as a robot. He was a fun NPC that I'm glad that he made it to the end of the campaign. It was really the Megazord Richard was pretty great.
Yeah.
That's an epic way to go. Yeah.
I like to think that his cape like turned into like spines, and he's like really making him look like a
Just like an Evangelion mech.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my
golly.
goodness.
Ugh, scary.
So
Cool.
this Richard is not the same Richard as the one that's in Ordinary Heroes.
No.
So let's talk
Yeah.
about this version of
So
Richard.
yeah, Ordinary Heroes, which as we've said before is Universe 1 in Reinvent. But Ordinary Heroes Richard, some of the biggest differences is that in this universe, he is created by a mad scientist who is named Dr. R.I.C.H.A.R.D, and he does not have his extendo arms in this one. So those are some of the big things. Also, his notable allies in this universe are Captain Amazing, Trickshot, Sneak, and Circuit. And his notable adversaries here are Lady Earthquake, Booming Boxer, and Fortunato, all three of which he never really encountered in normal Universe 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there would have been no reason.
But yeah, so those are some of the big differences, mostly the characters he interacts with. In this one as well, he is there at the inception of the Order of Heroes. He's one of like the founding lineup, and he's like the sort of like the surrogate of, whereas he was like best buddies with Overkill in Universe 17, Trickshot now fills that spot in Universe 1. Which, ironically enough, in Universe 17, Trickshot, Gary Klein is one of like the reject squad with
Oh,
Malcolm.
nice.
Yeah, he started as a
He was a jobber.
he
You
was
can
a
see-
jobber.
yeah.
He definitely thought that he was Ironsight's nemesis.
He's like the reinvented equivalent of Batroc the Leaper from Marvel.
I don't think I know.
He's the guy from they use him in Civil War. He's the guy that Cap fights, not Civil War, Winter Soldier, on that like boat in the beginning of Winter Soldier
Yeah.
that Cap fights, who like kicks the shield out of midair or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he shows up again in Falcon and the Winter Soldier in the first like episode with like the whole jet thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So Andrew,
Oh, me.
what's it like been? Andrew, what's it been like playing a robot?
Oh, I mean, it's been super fun. I loved that, the first thing you read about it was like, oh, he's the goofiest little robot or whatever.
Yeah,
that
the goofiest robot you've ever seen.
Yeah, I was like, okay, awesome. Yeah, I can play that.
He was like typecast.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I thought I was gonna be like a super cool robot. No, okay, yeah, I can play a little goofy guy. No, it's super fun. Like Richard is easily one of my favorite characters in the show. Like he's just like, like I don't know exactly what like the intentionality is behind like the different Order of Heroes characters, like and how they like if they like represent different versions of Wendell, but like like I kind of see like I've kind of thought of Richard as like his innocence and like his like whimsy almost, like just like yeah, I want to like I just like we can like do good and like have a good time while we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would agree. Richard is definitely that whimsical sense of Wendell. That is sort of what he represents there. And as well in that sort of like lineup that like in the story, he of course serves the purpose of like telling the characters and the audience like the gold, silver, bronze age stuff. But also, and I think we'd had this conversation at some point of like Richard is the character who intentionally doesn't ever change. That he is like always the same, and that is sort of like meant to be a point of comfort for other characters as well as the audience, but also so that the audience, when they see the world changing around Richard, that's like a reference point for them to look back on earlier in the story.
Yeah, I for this show, this was a show that I did. We didn't do auditions for this show. Like I asked people, just because. But this particular project, it was one. It's like a very short turnaround time, and there was a specific, I think, pressure I felt that I was like, okay, I just like this is gonna be one that I'm gonna handpick the cast for it. And the it was funny because I was like, oh, Andrew's funny. He'll be funny as a robot. This will be great. I forgot that Andrew is a very good dancer. And the first rehearsal where we worked on the Dr. Risk and Lady Earthquake scene, and you started doing your robot dancing,
That's so good.
I about peed myself. I was laughing so hard. It was so good, and I was just like, I wouldn't have.
I was just like, how do I represent this moment? Like,
Well, it's like when you were like powering up, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh my goodness, this is fantastic. I also think another fun Andrew moment in rehearsal was when we were working on the Fortunato fight, just like building it. This was the rehearsal that like it was the day before we went on break for Christmas. I made everybody watch an episode of My Hero Academia. And we were playing around with some physicality with just the people that were there, and we were working on the Fortunato versus Richard fight, and it was so scary. Like you like made this face that was like I don't know, it wasn't a happy Richard face, and you like Terminator walked towards.
I think it'd be scarier if I had a smile on my face.
Oh my gosh,
Like, I was like-
No, that was a fun time.
yeah.
Have you had a highlight moment throughout the rehearsal process?
Oh man. Honestly, like I love like, like I love being like the goofy little guy, like whenever like everybody else, like sometimes it's like a little bit more serious moments or just like, like whenever everybody's got a talking and then like, maybe I start explaining the birds and the bees,
Oh,
So,
yeah.
it's like, whoa, you don't have to do that.
You're just being helpful.
Yeah.
They asked a question, you're just gonna answer
Gosh,
it.
that's one of my like I laughed really hard when I started writing that joke. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be great.
Sweet Hayden being like, "That's enough."
Yeah.
One of my favorite things that I didn't realize was in there at first, and then it was in rehearsals when I started like recognizing it was there, was that throughout like the whole script, Richard is like a little bit of a jerk to Lady Earthquake no matter what. I was like, when she shows up in the void, she's like, oh, I see all the spots are taken, and he's like, sure are.
Yeah. It's like he just gets a little catty just specifically with Lady Earthquake.
Yeah.
Ben, what's it like seeing a real life human play you what originally was an NPC that you kept trying to kill off from the party?
I mean, it's just it's fun. I sort of when putting together like the list of characters that would be included in Ordinary Heroes, putting Captain Amazing was the first one that I was like, this is definitely going in there, and then Richard was the one after that I was like, Richard's got to be in here, and then it was Sneak. And honestly, I toiled for a long time for the other two, like before settling on Trick Shot and then Dark Fog. But yeah, so seeing actually Richard like brought to life by a person is very like strange. 'Cause it's just like it's one of those things that I in all of the read-throughs leading up to like that last one, anytime that I'm like, yes, Richard, a robot, everyone goes to like, robot voice.
Yeah, I was like, oh, beep, beep,
Yeah.
boop, boop, which is 100% before, like whenever y'all said like, hey, we'd like you to read it for Richard, I was practicing a robot voice. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
No. 1940s baseball announcer.
No, yeah, and it was at that one that I was like, not a robot voice.
Yeah.
And that's the one that actually made it click. It's like, oh yeah, no, this is great, this is fun. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Like most of the stuff, it all feels very like fulfilling to see it all like brought to life on stage, because it's like all of these characters that are featured in the show are ones that at the table I was the one doing, and so it's very fun to see other people do them now and portray them, and bring their own like takes and spins on them and everything. And so yeah, that's been the fun part of like seeing other interpretations of the character.
You know, playing this character, like, and knowing that he was a beloved character from like the tabletop games, it is like, it honestly is a little intimidating of just being like, oh man, I really hope I do it just like somewhat justice, because I, you know, like I know like how much that this character means to like even people that I've never met that were in the campaign, you know. And so it's like I just want to be able to do like a good representation, whatever that is, of it.
Oh, you got it. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
What anime would Richard like the most?
Oh gosh, I gotta like think. I gotta like go into the archives here.
He's in his mind palace right now.
Yeah.
You can see it. It's some beautiful mind happening in the kitchen right now.
One Piece, no.
I think there are two that come to mind. And one of them is the newer one that is the more popular one that I think Richard would be a big fan of is Spy Family.
Oh my gosh, he would
I
love
think
Spy
Richard would love
Family.
the antics that go on in Spy Family. The other one, and this is a bit more of a pull, but I think Richard would be a really big fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal specifically. That is the fourth Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime series, and it is the first one that was like super hated.
Really?
Most of the because that was when they were like, okay, cool. Like the first three, they were like sort of catering to the same fans the whole time. I was like, okay, our fan base is getting older and older throughout OG, GX, and then 5Ds. And then starting with Zexal, they sort of like reset continuity. They're like, we're not really gonna like reference old anime anymore. But so like the character was now in middle school instead of an adult. And so the adult fans and high school fans didn't really like that very much. And also for the first time ever, the main character was bad at the card game. And so actually had to like grow and train and everything.
They didn't have the heart of the cards.
Yeah. That was the first time
So
that a
one thing I
Yu-Gi-Oh!
know about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, no, absolutely. That was a huge
That's all
like
you need to know.
that was a huge like status quo change for like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Fandom. And so I think I don't know. And so the main character also has this other character named Astral, who is like this sort of like ghost dueling alien spirit thing that only he can see, but who like this character is like learning about Earth through Yu-Gi-Oh!
Interesting.
And it's very, I think Richard will resonate a lot with
Yeah,
that
Richard's
character.
like, I see a lot of myself in this
Yeah.
guy.
I was expecting the vending machine one, but I'm
Reborn
glad-
is a vending machine.
Yeah, that's the one I was expecting you to say. But
I don't think Richard gets into isekai.
I don't think he understands it.
Yeah.
He's like, how would this happen?
Are there any other questions you guys have for Richard or anything?
Why is Richard red?
That was just like super early on. I wanted it to like invoke feelings of Iron Man a little bit. So with the original like red and silver color scheme. And so that just became the go-to, was that like red and silver, red and white color scheme became his go-to thing. And then that's the other one. Guilt is like purple and black. So yeah, that's how you know he's edgy.
Yeah.
And
Purple.
I need somebody to paint me right now. Can I ask, like, how do you feel, Abby, like directing the show, like directing this character, whenever you played in a campaign for so long with him?
Ooh, I think it. There have been so many moments throughout directing the show and being in the show as well that have been surreal, and moments of just inspiration that hit from other people. I have found this with devising with people, is that y'all come up with ideas that I would never ever in my wildest dreams come up with, a la Fido, having I would have never ever come up with a werewolf character who really likes to play fetch as a character, but that was a great character for Lady Legacy Tale of the Tide. And the ideas that other people bring to the table when I think I know it all, which I don't, but like it's easy to feel that way whenever you've been in, like, I mean, I've been writing in this world for the last 5 years, 6 years now. I mean, it is a surreal feeling, and there have been times where like I've just kind of been sitting in rehearsal, just like, holy crap, like this is actually happening. And that's kind of been my attitude throughout the last couple stage shows that we've done of like, oh man, this is actually happening. And just seeing what we can all do together is really cool. And like the great thing about D&D and other role-playing games and theater is that it should be very collaborative. And when you're in the right environment, it's a great way to tell stories together. And thankfully, everyone that we have worked with so far has been very giving and very willing to make silly choices that oftentimes are like, keep that, that's good. And like you doing your robot dance moves, that wouldn't have ever thought to have asked you to do that. But you did it, and I was like, that is perfect. And
that was also where I was like, I need to get something to keep my hair out of my face while I'm doing it. That's why I started wearing the headbands.
I like the headband look. It's a good look. I also think it's really funny. This is segueing into what our next show is. I like that Andrew Aguilar is our go-to, like, just a little guy character.
Just a little guy.
Because the character that he'll be playing for our currently untitled spy show, Kyle, is just a little guy that we love so much. And in a future episode, we'll sit down and talk about him. But now, next show we put Andrew in, we need to make him a bad guy or something. I want to shake it up.
So, well, apparently I have a scary face. I didn't even know I was doing one for that.
It was scary. No, it's fun, and that's been a fun thing with producing stuff for Reinvent. Of me purposefully putting people into roles that they might not have played before or might not have had an opportunity to play before. Like me casting myself as a princess type character. I never play characters like that, and now I know why I don't play them. Because they're boring unless you're in a musical. But
So you're saying Reinvent's going to start doing musicals?
I cannot fathom Reinvent doing musicals, but we shall see. The closest thing to that might be the Rat musical that Monica's writing. Maybe we'll have a musical episode someday.
Need a status update on that,
right?
But yeah, no, it's fun. Particularly like putting my friends in situations that are uncomfortable in a good way because it makes you grow. But we keep typecasting Andrew as goofy little guys, so we just gotta change that.
It's like, is Ridge like a goofy little guy?
I was gonna say, it's different fonts.
Yeah, for sure. And even Richard and Kyle, it's like, yeah, there's definitely different kinds of goofy little guys, but definitely little guy energy for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's like I would say like Ridge is like goofy guy. I take the little out of
it. Ridge is a goofy guy.
Ridge is goofy guy. Richard is absolutely goofy little guy. But also like Richard is like a load bearing character for sure. And then like Kyle is
perfect in
later
every
on,
way.
but like Kyle has like a whole character arc.
I would say he's like less goofy little guy and more just a little guy.
Absolutely. Kyle's a little guy.
Goofy guy, goofy little guy, and little guy.
Yeah. And next one will just be a guy.
Yeah.
And that's additional voices.
And that is true. Okay, never mind. Okay, we've got yes.
That's so perfect.
Yeah, that's fun. You get to do some voice acting for us this season too.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that. Yeah. Never done it before.
So fun.
I'm trying to, since both of my brothers beat me to the whole performing acting thing, I'm trying to do things that they haven't done, so I can be like, see.
Well, you've done devising. Now you will have done voice acting.
Yeah, and I'll do a film, like short film.
Yeah, that's right. You're in a short film with us. Wait, we get to be an anime trio.
Oh my gosh,
this year.
So we do have to. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that my character is the Bakugo of that trio.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, Andrew, do you want to give a shout out? You can shout out the little movie we were just talking about.
I'll go ahead and shout out Castle Run. It's we'll be We'll be filming it later this year, and then like it should be coming out in 2026,
I
right?
think so.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, perfect. But that's like it was written by our friend Kelton, and it's just like like it's gonna be a really fun story, and I'm super excited for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to follow that project, he's got an Instagram set up for it. It is castle_run short film. No spoiler. We'll put that in the notes. But go check it out. Ben, Andrew, and I are the 3 plucky lead characters that we're trying to beat a video game together. That's gonna be really fun.
And it's gonna be so easy too.
Yeah,
I'm
it's gonna be
sure.
so
Yeah,
easy.
absolutely.
And nothing will go wrong.
That makes the best storytelling, right? Like
No,
whenever it's like
absolutely.
just like
super easy
you
and
j-
nothing goes
yeah,
wrong.
they do everything that they want to do the first time,
Yeah,
and it's just like
exactly.
okay,
Cool,
yeah,
yeah.
story over, I guess.
Just a story of people succeeding.
Well, that is all for this episode of Lore Drop about Richard. Andrew, thanks for being our third party member today.
It was an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, so tune into our next episode for Trick Shot. And remember, being
fantastic starts with being a fan.
Reinvent Productions is proudly sponsored by 5 Points Corporation Lubbock and Savannah R.I.C.H.A.R.D Photography, as well as our other wonderful community patrons. Our home base in Lubbock is Hollingsworth Hall Cultural Center at 4228 Boston Avenue. For more information on how to support our 501c3 organization, you can check out our website at www.reinvent-productions.com. To directly support our upcoming audio drama, you can become a Lore Drop sponsor. For just $10, you can sponsor an episode of this podcast. All donations will go towards support for our upcoming production of Children of Destiny Cataclysm Season 1, which will begin releasing episodes June 22nd, 2026. Funds will go towards paying our wonderful voice actors and creative staff for their fantastic talent and time. We have over 30 artists globally working on this production, and we can't wait for you to hear it this summer. You can donate at givebutter.com/Lore Drop sponsor. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at reinvent.productions, as well as on Facebook and Twitch, where we stream gaming and a look behind the scenes on how we create our new works. Be sure to follow us to stay in the loop about upcoming productions, auditions, and more. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode of Lore Drop.